Hi, everyone. We had a lot to say about this particular episode, so it will be a two-parter. Make sure to listen to this one before you go to part two. You're modern-day goddamn Charles Dickens. A Bravo-loving Charles Dickens, man.
I am fucking wheat. I'm wheat.
Yes.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I am Ramona Ramirez. Margie, as always, tonight is no different. I am so fucking thrilled to see you.
Me too.
I have a surge of good feelings running through my veins right now because I get to talk to you. Right.
Me too. It's been a big old long day. And
fuck yeah, man.
Heading into the holidays and stuff. So this is just a nice way to, it's starting as a nice way to end the night, but I will be raging by the end of this because Sutton really did it to me this episode. She really pushed all my damn buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle continued to push all my damn buttons, and God damn it, so did Erika and her quote unquote therapist, Dr. Jenn Mann. And we'll get there. Hashtag we'll get there. I'm just kidding. Hashtag, come on. Okay. Elder Gen X. Oh, that's humiliating. I'm humiliated. I'm going to cut that out. Just kidding.
Do not cut that out.
I'm not
How
going
dare you?
to. I promise. That would be ridiculous and contrived. I don't fucking want to be Kyle.
No, exactly. Honest and open and transparent and bleh.
No, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh,
that was 20 fractions of a second ago. God forbid I hold on to anything in my sieve of a brain.
Bruh, lately, seriously. Before we get into the actual episode, I just wanted to bring up something I observed. So it was the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, followed by the Real Housewives of New York. So on Watch What Happens Live that night, Kyle and Jessel were guests. So I've said on the podcast before many times, Kyle's true personality comes out when she is a guest on Watch What Happens Live. So if you are interested in seeing that, go back and watch when she's been a guest. That is when we see the true Kyle. The Kyle that we see on the show. You know what? I just want to give her credit. She's probably a better actress than I thought she is because she's playing the fuck out of us. So she was asked about the texting with PK thing. And I think someone asked her, I don't remember if it was a tweet or Andy, do you think it's weird that Kyle and PK text, yes or no? And she said, well, there was a little discrepancy here. Obviously, when you've been friends with someone for that many years, I want to highlight this. When you have been friends with someone for that many years, you text now and then. But what I was referring to when I was talking to Garcelle is when he reached out to me, it was when he heard I was separated. He always sends jokes for years. So I didn't think that was weird. So I ask you, I ask everybody in the fucking Bravo-verse, I ask Kyle, what is it? Because Amazon Live Kyle, a.k.a. not close friends with Dorit Kyle, is one Kyle, or is her true self Kyle, Watch What Happens Live Kyle? She literally said friends for many years. She is full fucking hip. Also, that day, I had on Bravo in the background while I tried to do my chores, my to-do list around the house. And thank God for fucking Bravo on days like that. So season 4 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was running that day. And in regards to Lisa Vanderpump, it was the episode where, remember they went to, I think they went to the Bahamas. And this was Brandy's still in the cast. Yolanda's still in the cast. Joyce is on this cast. Carlton is on this cast. So they're in Beverly Hills. The husbands are there. In Bahamas. The husbands are there. And this is when Brandy tells Kyle, LVP wanted me to put this Us Weekly with Mauricio on the cover with a cheating allegations headline. She asked me to put this in my suitcase and take this on this trip. My point is, Kyle said she paid a very big price for pointing out to Lisa Vanderpump what Brandy had told her. Whenever I've spoken to Lisa about any issue, she has punished me and shut me out. Whenever I point something out to Lisa Vanderpump, she's punished me and shut me out. Cut to 10 years later, season 14, what she's doing to Dorit. Kyle was jockeying for top dog status that whole fucking time. LVP left. Kyle was the head of the proverbial hydra that regrew in LVP's place, and now she's doing the same thing that she accused LVP of doing. And again, we talked about this last week, Kyle was recently photographed with Morgan. They're still together.
I mean,
And
clear. If she's hosting a Denim and Diamonds party,
that
I was
is
like,
all
if there's
I'm
no
saying,
bigger
man.
signal that you all
That-
are still up each other's asses
Yep.
than you hosting a party that.
Yep. And
Come on.
that stage was set up for Morgan Wade. That stage was set up for Morgan Wade. So I believe that she's playing us. I don't know why she doesn't want to move forward with the divorce. And then earlier today, which is December, what is this, the 19th?
Mm-hmm.
There was a source in quotations that leaked to, I don't know who it was, Page 6 or another one of the rags. She was quoted as saying she was heartbroken about the pictures of Mauricio and the 33-year-old model. Now, I'm not saying that didn't sting for her to see that.
She did it first.
But yes, A, she did it first. B, like, if Josh and I were to get divorced and I saw pictures of him or caught wind of him dating someone that was 20 years younger than me, it would sting like
Yes,
the
of
pain of a
course.
thousand nettles.
Of course.
Just for the ego part, and let alone like unpacking our past history or how painful a divorce would be, yada, yada. I'm just saying, like, as someone who is grappling with aging, if I was to see my proverbial ex-husband with someone 20 years younger than me, I would be devastated, you know? And she's just like, she's fucking playing us. She is playing us. So I don't know. I think she might want to establish some sort of narrative about being this heartbroken babe in the woods, soon to be ex-wife, victim bullshit. But she's a liar. I think someone, I said this earlier, but I think she asked someone to probably leak her feelings to the press. And I'm just no longer buying her heartbroken storyline. I understand, I acknowledge that the end of a 30-year relationship where they have multiple children has got to be painful, but there is something else going on behind why she doesn't want to move forward. Probably a lot to do with money. And I think
that's
also
all of it, because that is going to be a behemoth task to
it is. I
split
mean,
those assets. And also, I think something in her knows that once it comes down to doing the math, you know how I feel about it. Like,
Yeah.
she's not going to like the outcome, because Mauricio is going to look at the numbers, look at the hours of input he put in to earn these numbers. You know, it's just not going to, that is where every single person on this cast who's divorced is like, that's when it gets ugly. And I think Kyle, it's fine. I think it's fine for her to avoid that as long as she can, but she's not in the power position there. And I think she knows it. And so she would prefer to not address finances and just sort of coast and tell everyone it's the most amicable divorce on the planet.
Yeah, girl.
Theirs is so different. It's like, okay.
She's setting this up so that, let's say when they are done, let's say after the reunion's wrapped and they have that 4 months off or whatever, longer than that, who fucking cares? That's irrelevant. My point is, if they move forward with a divorce when they're not shooting, she has another storyline for next year, the heartbroken Kyle. And she's building up this image so when the lawyers go head to head, it's like, look at Kyle. I don't know. I am so repulsed by this woman.
Well, it's all like you said, everything is like a lie of omission. Like the PK thing, she said to Garcelle, how about PK reaches out to me? That's what she said. And I saw the Watch What Happens Live thing too, where she's like, well, what I meant was he reached out to me when I got separated. I was like, that's not at all what you implied. That is not at all what you said. So that is a massive lie of omission, which is a lie. And so is her whole performance this season, because she's not heartbroken. She has Morgan. She's not, I do believe that her identity is shaken when, you know, as stupid as it is to be like, how do you note on the invitation, is it Kyle's house now? Or like, I get it. Look, it's not important, but I give her that. It's a massive adjustment after 30 years of being a we to becoming an I. It's a lot, but there's nothing about her that reads to me. Again, having sat with lots of friends and family through their divorces, this is not what it looks like when you're in actual pain. Certainly not this early on, you know? So I'm with you. I'm just like, she's doing the AI version of what a divorced woman might say and do and move through her life, but it's not reading as human to me.
That was one of the more poetic fucking things you have ever uttered on this podcast. You're right. She is full AI. She's full AI about to divorce her husband and lots of drama. Oh my God, Margie, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, she fully went to ChatGPT and was like, what does a woman do when she's pretending that she's going to be sad about a breakup that's
holy shit
that she initiated, that's been ongoing for years? Like, give me a break. By the way, I just want to apologize. I don't know how much of this is coming through the microphone, but upstairs someone is hammering and Evelyn is out and she's squeaking toys and tearing things apart and just being a bad dog. But
listen,
I'm not going to yell at her because
justice for Evelyn. I love hearing her little squeaks in the background. It's so funny. Both of your dogs.
I know, they really love a squeaky
toy. Whenever you talk to a friend or whenever you're otherwise occupied, they're like, oh no, mama. Yeah. Now I'm going to get my toy, or now I'm going to rearrange my pillows.
They like to be part of it. And I think she just tired herself out because now I hear no more noise.
I love it when she's out. So
yeah. But when anything starts, it's always, there's a lot of collar rattling and toy squeaking and carpet scratching and all sorts of crap. So anyways,
hilarious.
For whatever is coming through, my apologies. And Evelyn says hi to everyone.
Hi, Evelyn. So this is The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode 5, High Horses and Low Blows.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. And there were a lot of high motherfucking horses. I'm looking at you, Kyle. Obviously, I'm looking at Sutton. I'm definitely looking at Erika.
You know, it's funny. Like, I had a different experience of Erika in this episode. And again, it's just because I'm enjoying watching people in process in therapy. It is a slow writing of a big ship when you start the work. And I do feel like her scene with Jenn, Dr. Jenn, she's different. Like, she's a little better. And even in the fight at the end of the Denim and Diamonds party, she had some insightful shit to say, and it wasn't taking sides. It was more objective of like, honestly, like what the we'll get to Camille, but like that was completely insane out of nowhere. And like, what is happening?
I have a theory on that. I have a theory on Camille.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'll bring it up later, but
because I couldn't make any sense. I'm like, why is she here? What is she wearing? And stop talking. You make no sense. You forgot everyone's name. You're talking about things from literally 6 years ago. Like, I just was like, I don't know what's this lady.
I'll give you a hint.
Crazy.
I'll give you a hint in why Camille was there. Again, the Hydra head was cut off when LVP was fired. Kyle took that place. Camille's there.
Well, Kyle's an idiot for
I know.
recruiting her as a deputy.
She's her
what a dumbass.
She's her mouthpiece a la Brandy.
I mean, I
just
figured
saying.
that when Camille was the first to show up,
My God.
I was like,
My
oh,
God.
this feels like an assignment. But she was so ineffective that I was like, what is actually happening? This is
Right.
legitimately crazy.
She scraped the bottom of that barrel, dude.
Oof.
Kyle did by asking Camille to do her dirty work. And you know what? And about Erika, you're absolutely right. I was just thinking about her doing it in her therapy scene with Dr. Jenn Mann. But at the end, I absolutely saw what you saw. And I have notes on that, copious notes. Yeah.
And that's like the slow progress of therapy. Like she's actually come a long way from her empathy, like for them. Because in that scene at the end, she is experiencing empathy when Camille's coming at Dorit and she's like, Camille, you know what she's going through. I was like, whoa.
I know, man.
Whoa. Like the fact that Erika didn't personalize it in that moment, even though her whole therapy session was about how she's personalizing everything, I was like, this is minor growth. And Dorit seems to be just like, she's a whole new person. And I'm so sorry her life is going up in smoke, as she said, but I've never seen her more. I love listening to her talk. And she was just absolutely knocking every ball out of the park in that last scene. Like Sutton could not get any traction because Dorit was just like, no, I'm totally comfortable in the truth. My life sucks. Now what? It was like amazing.
I'd save this comment for later, but I'm afraid I'd forget it. I wonder if, okay, so let's hypothesize for a moment. Yes, we are watching Erika. We're watching her therapy process in real time. I'm not sure I 100% buy it because at the end, remember when she's sipping her Coke in the confessional, she's like, I mean, I have a, what was it? Like
personality disorder.
Personality disorder, yeah.
See, I love that because I was like, yes, speak it. So
But
everyone does. And we should be naming them and celebrating them and like not stigmatizing them.
But do you think she was saying that or do you think she was poking fun at everybody
Both.
online talking about what a narcissist she is?
I mean, I don't think I find Dr. Jenn like somewhat effective. The way she spoke to Erika, I would imagine Dr. Jenn may have brought this to Erika's attention. I think Erika may know she's a narcissist. I don't know if there's a cure or if Erika's interested in it, but I don't think she's in denial anymore that she's a mess. Because I love Dr. Jenn saying like, the reason people didn't support you in your divorce is because you were a villain.
Yeah, dude.
Your divorce was loaded with criminal activity and you made it worse. And Erika, to her credit, was like, I did make it worse. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I also think that as far as Erika and her journey with empathy, you know, instead of it being for them, I wonder if she's super supportive of Dorit right now because Tom, he was a pariah in the press. PK doesn't have a fabulous reputation.
PK will be Tom, and everyone knows it.
Exactly.
Like,
and so
it's a matter of time. Everyone's hinting at it, but it's like you are with a criminal, so Erika will be useful sounding board when your time comes to deal with your court cases.
And so she is able to palpably relate, finally, to someone else. And I think, I wonder, I'm not like positive about this, but I wonder if that's why she's able to kind of, like, it's so close in her rearview mirror still, her being an utter pariah. I mean, she talked about it at the end, you know, in her confessional about like when she'd leave the house. And we all saw the pictures, you know.
And I think that's evidence to Dr. Jenn's effectiveness too, and just to the general effectiveness of therapy. Like Erika was in a legitimate chemical depression, it appeared. When you don't leave your house for 3 years, and when you do, it's to pick up your Starbucks bag,
right?
You're not well.
Yeah,
you know?
You're right.
And since working with Dr. Jenn, and I think some of her, you know, physical changes have given her new confidence but I do think that the therapy, I'm seeing evidence of it working. And again, not perfect yet. Like she's still a disaster. She still very much belongs in this cast for all the drama and ridiculousness she brings.
Yeah.
But I was fascinated in this episode with the evolution from the last season's therapy session with Dr. Jenn to this.
My God.
It's like night and day.
Yes.
And she's going to ruin her house with her stupid designs.
Bruh.
Stop it.
Lest we forget that she still owes Marco like a fuck ton of money. And she still does not, I don't believe that she has still made like appropriate contrition with the widows and orphans. So
she hasn't done anything.
Just to make that clear. We are not here championing.
No, God, no.
Erika Jayne.
She is not. She has not. She needs a 12-step program to go through formal amends. And but I don't, that's where I think her personality disorder, wherever it is, will preclude her from doing that. Preclude her from doing, is that a word?
Preclude? Prevent?
Preclude?
I don't know. I know what word you're looking for, and I
Okay.
usually rely on you because you're the writer of the
It's
duo.
too late. I can't. My brain just
and it's a really
dictionary off. I
listen.
don't know.
This time of year, every ounce of brain function is focused on bullshit. Anyway,
Can I just say that every ounce of brain function is devoted to driving? It gets dark at 4
Yes.
p.m. and everyone's insane. I don't know what is wrong on the roads, at least in Los Angeles right now. It's like the thousands of close calls that I'm in on a daily basis and I witness on a daily basis. I'm like, can we all just take it down a notch? Do you really need to make this left turn? You need to be the fourth car to go? Sorry,
no, it's
we're
always
in that moment in time. Like the
it
end of
is.
December is just like everyone is in such a rush to do what? You have to get to the Grove that fast? Okay,
God,
go
the
ahead.
Grove at Christmas time, man.
God.
I know. I worked at the Grove during Christmas,
Oh, my
probably 2 or
God.
3 Christmases, and
You should be sainted. It is.
I mean, it was at least back between like 2003 and 2006. So it wasn't like the Grove of today, but it was on its way to being the Grove of today. And it was a hellscape. Hellscape. But at that time, I was still able to park on the residential streets that were like a couple blocks away. And now you can't do that. So they wised up. Anyway, so at least I had that. Who cares?
Rick Caruso won't let his employees park in the lot. That infuriates me.
Oh my God.
The rooftop
he's
should be for
such
employees.
A raging asshole.
Stupid.
No one paid for our parking when we parked there. We paid out of pocket.
Are
Oh,
you
yeah.
kidding me?
No, I'm not. No way. Oh, we all paid out of pocket. Yeah.
Nordstrom.
And we weren't supposed to park on certain floors.
Oh, blow me. Honestly.
Blow me is right. We all did. F you, man.
I would park right next to the stairs. Like, give me a break. If I'm here
Yeah.
first come, first serve.
Late stage capitalism at its fucking finest.
Unreal.
Right?
Yeah.
Anywho, we opened the
here we go.
episode. Yes. We opened the episode on Garcelle getting teary eyed by seeing her name as executive producer on the opening scene of one of her movies, wishing her mom could see her. Just saying it, like, it chokes me up. Chokes me up.
Yeah, this was a real Lifetime Achievement Award clip show for Garcelle.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a little heavy-handed. This opening scene was a lot for me, where she's like freeze frame on the executive producer Garcelle Beauvais, and then layered onto it, "I wish you were here, Mom." I was like, oh my God, we're starting with a whole lot of emotion, and then we never touch on it again. But that's fine.
Yeah, and we saw the flashback with her talk. Oh no, that's later. We see this flashback of her
And her sister,
and her sister when they're talking
Yeah.
about the Oxnard beach house. And
yeah,
I'm
and her
I'm,
children applauding her,
Yes,
and Sutton applauding her, and it's like
which
it's all
is-
great, but
it
it's like,
is. It's great. It's a testament to her kids too, to her mothering. I mean, that her
Yeah.
kids as teenage boys are able to say like, "Listen, we see you, Mom. We know what you did for us, and under the circumstances in which you did it." And
And it was
I
the
am,
one moment I appreciated Sutton. The one moment I appreciated her in this episode when she got it appeared legitimately emotional, saying like Garcelle was a little girl in Haiti, and here she is thriving in her career, building a beach house from scratch. Like, you know, these are the dreams. These are the you made it moments.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
So that was nice.
And then we move to Dorit putting sunscreen on Jagger, and Jagger notices that she has new sunglasses, and she says, "Yes, honey, these are the Louis Vuitton collab with the NBA." And I got rageful when she even said the letters NBA. Listen. Name one NBA player that isn't like a top billing household name, and then you're allowed to wear NBA shit. If not, take it somewhere else, Dorit. Another collab is for you. Do not tread upon my sacred sports organization. Fuck the NBA. Fuck them all, but like I love basketball. So like, you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
I was so mad. Like, dude, don't be a poser. You can't name anybody.
You can't tell Dorit not to be a poser.
But
It's
that's
her,
what I'm
what
saying.
What is her accent?
No,
what
you're
is
right.
her, like,
I mean,
it's her
Dorit
identity.
is fully Doriting, but Louis Vuitton and the NBA, I was like, I someone needs to come like slap the rage out of me because I cannot right now.
I swear those must have been from a gifting suite. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like they're not, I doubt the NBA was like, you know who we'd really like in our attire? Dorit Kemsley.
She don't
Victim
know.
of her husband's robbery attempt and
When you know that Devin Booker, when you know the team that Devin, and he is, in my opinion, a household name.
he is. He's dated a Kardashian, for Christ's
Right?
sake.
I was sad for him that he did that, but whatever.
Oh, they look like they were having fun. They're young. Who cares?
I know, but
They're young
like,
and
come
tall.
on, Devin, you can do better than that.
And he
But
did. He moved on.
Devin is half Mexican, and that's why he has a soft spot in my heart. And I love him. I wish he was a Laker. Maybe one day. He's young. But like when you know that Devin Booker plays in the Phoenix Suns, I doubt she does. When you know that Devin Booker is half Mexican, go ahead and put those glasses on. Until then, sit down. Hashtag rant over. Sorry.
Oh,
God,
it's
no one
fine.
came to hear me talk about this bullshit.
This whole show that whole scene was centered on that bullshit. So yes,
you're
we
right.
did come
You're
to see
right.
this
You're
bullshit.
right. Okay.
I just got distracted by Jagger, who I thought for whatever reason maybe it's the Christmas spirit, and I'm just like, children are adorable. I thought he was so cute.
So cute, Margie.
His whole every time he was on the screen, like running off to tennis, it's 2:17. I gotta go with his little sunscreen face. He was just adorable.
Adorable.
So
That
I was
little boy
like
was
focused
so
on him, and he
adorable.
was so good as Dorit was smushing like all moms do, slapping sunscreen on every nook and cranny on that face, and he was
My
so
God.
patient and just
My
like
God.
his little white PK complexion.
I will know that I'm in hell when I have to just put sunscreen on a little kid's face all day and all night. It is one of the harder things about getting my kid ready to like go to camp in the summer or go outside and play. Like, you don't want it. You can't get it in their eye because it stings. They're moving. You
And
can't.
it's thick.
It's thick. And like, I finally am able to get Leo to kind of like put it on himself. But it causes me anxiety. I can't get it in all the crevices.
Nobody
you know?
can.
Jeez. Anyway, so he is incredibly, we saw a very sweet boy on that screen.
And
I
I
agree.
do want to say, I do think like as devastating as divorce is, something has happened to Dorit where she's just dropped into a more authentic version of herself. And it seems like she's closer with her kids. Like that was such a natural interaction as opposed to what we've seen before when they're homeschooling and it's all this like weird high stakes, high demand performative bullshit. And this was
You're
just
right.
like cute sunglasses, mom. She's like, yeah, I don't know. They're a collaboration with Louis Vuitton and hold still like smush zinc into your face so you don't fry.
My God. Yeah,
Adorable.
I agree. I agree. And we have Erika looking at expensive home furnishings, and A, they were ugly, and B,
All of 'em.
like pay Marco, pay the victims and the victims of your husband.
Also, your
And-
house is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine. Go put the new furniture in, but like, why? Don't mess with like the beautiful 20s Spanish Hancock Park. Like, don't.
Is she going to
It
actually
hurt.
like do remodeling?
It looked like it. It looked like black and white striped wallpaper, as opposed to like, you know, like these kinds of walls or like
Oh,
the
believe me.
tiles in the kitchen and the art. Like, not that she's gonna get into the bones of it or anything, but it just won't match the. I don't know. I have such a love for old California Spanish architecture that it just absolutely hurts my heart.
Same. You and Josh Flagg both.
I
All
know. I
roads lead to
really,
Bravo.
I adore that man. I know he's
You're right.
got lots of problems, but he gets great plastic surgery and he really tries to preserve all these beautiful homes out here. so
100%, man.
here for
Agree.
it.
Cosign. And then we go to Jennifer Tilly's house. This was the most fascinating behind the scenes look. And I was riveted the whole time. Riveted. God, I'm talking a lot, Margie. You want to talk about this scene? I'm like,
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Look, all I wrote is she gets wine for Tiffany, the doll in a 4,500 Gautier custom couture outfit. That's all I had. But it really is. It's there are a lot of moments in this episode that were through the looking glass for me, and this was literally one where you step inside that French blue gate, and all of a sudden it's just like, wait, what? It's your playhouse? This isn't where you live?
I know.
And I watched everyone wear their shoes inside. They can't do that at Bose's house. You know, they wouldn't do that at their own house. But at the Playhouse, track in your dog shit, track in your fertilizer, track in your grass. This is for the purpose of like that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, how great is it for her that she doesn't have to like open up her actual house. That
Her
must
bathroom.
be a really vulnerable feeling.
I guess also
to open
when you're
up,
that high profile, that
right?
would be a lot of like.
Right? I mean, the fact that we get to see inside these people's houses is pretty interesting. I mean, and then there's Salt Lake City when it's like, okay, how many fucking long-term rentals are we actually seeing on this show? But that's a whole other thing I'll talk about when we get to what else we watched this week. I mean, she has properties in Las Vegas because she plays poker there, a beach house in Malibu, but it's haunted, so she doesn't like to go there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fascinating. 2 houses in Bel Air next to each other, so we're in the Playhouse in Bel Air. And I'm glad she clarified that, actually, because I remember seeing the kitchen in the very first episode when Sutton came over and she poured her the years old vodka. And I was like, this is a beautiful kitchen. But in Housewives land, in the realm of Housewives, it seemed very modest, especially given how much money we know that Jennifer Tilly has. So I was like, oh, now it makes sense. This is her like, that's her playhouse.
I love it.
Yeah,
it
totally.
So weird. Everything fired off at just the right time. The clock, like everything was just perfectly insane, and I really enjoyed it.
I loved her smock. I loved what she was wearing. I loved it. I would wear that.
I feel like she was speaking straight to the camera to you in this episode. Like when she said, don't go by me with what you're going to wear. I have great clothes and great jewelry. So I'm going to dress up going to Starbucks. Fuck you. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like Ramona would just be.
I said yes out loud. Like I was like, yes. I said that to Josh. I'm all that I was like, learn it, live it, love it.
And
absolutely.
That's the attitude. I love it. Like Jennifer Tilly. Although I was annoyed, I would happily go live in the beach house with her ghost. I would find a way to make friends with it. Like it bothers me that a beautiful, literal waterfront home up there is just like sitting for a ghost. But this is how I love to see people be rich. Like it's just like kind of crazy.
Yes.
But not in a Kathy Hilton way where it's like exclusive and yucky. Like Jennifer Tilly's like, welcome in. This is my playhouse. It's for everyone. And it's crazy. So enjoy
Here's
your time
this unhinged doll holding wine.
Yeah.
Here's Cher's grandfather clock that actually played a beautiful chime.
That lasted a long
wouldn't stop.
time.
Exactly.
And what time was it? It was like 10 to 11 or something. I was like, why is it going off?
I know.
What is happening?
I know.
And I love that she's like, I'm not going to stress about what I'm going to wear to the garden party. So you all can call each other and be concerned. But I just have great clothes and I'm going to wear them. And I love that she had... As much as I hate Kyle's collection of Kimosabe cowboy hats, I was delighted to hear that Jennifer Tilly has a billion cowboy hats. I was like, of course you do. They probably have their own house.
Probably. Oh my God. I know. I just want to peek. I wonder if like she's ever done a spread for Architectural Digest or something. I'll Google that. Who gives a shit? That's not why anybody called. To touch on the emotional points of the scene, this is where Kyle says it's her first party alone, sans Mo, and she has anxiety about how to invite people. And whereas you had compassion about her that you shared before we got into it, I was like, Kyle, you say, you are cordially invited to a Diamonds and Denim party. Done. Like, shut up. But yes. I'm suffering. I am not a fool suffering for her. She's playing us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't feel any real conflict in her. It's just like, again, it's fed through AI. It's like, this is something that a human being might say about throwing a party for the first time. Okay.
Jennifer Tilly brings up the fight that went down in Oceanside, and she says that it felt like they were able to clear the air, and Kyle co-signs and said she felt lighter the next day. And then Sutton brings up her conflict with Dorit, saying Dorit misunderstood her. It wasn't about Teddy. It was about the group being able to express their feelings without being ostracized. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So here I go.
Please.
So Sutton, this is the sisterhood pact that didn't make sense in the moment to me. I still, after 3 episodes, don't know what the hell that was or what we're talking about. I still don't get it. But she said we can express our feelings without being ostracized, without being yelled at, without being ganged up on. Then she spends the rest of the episode talking behind Dorit's back, yelling at her and ostracizing her. And I just wrote, and we'll get to it at the end, this is just the classic alcoholic control mechanism of I'm going to put rules in place. You're not going to do them how I meant it. Even if I was inarticulate, that's your fault. And I'm not going to take any responsibility for being unclear or out of line. So I'm going to blame and shame you. And that will be my whole goal. And that whole argument at the end, to me, was just a condensed version of what I fell for last week when she was on the boat saying, I'm here for you. I know what you're going through is really hard. And then the next day was like screaming at her. That argument at the end was just a condensed version of that. It just happened within seconds, which is my traditional understanding of an alcoholic argument. And I broke it down when we get there of like the tactics they use. And they're just relentless, doubling down on condescension, doubling down on victimizing themselves and villainizing you, and just like all of this manipulative bullshit. When about what? What is the sisterhood pact? Who needs it? Why is this on the table? What do you mean you're unraveling as a group? I don't even understand the premise. What the fuck is this? It's so out of line to me and clearly triggers all of my old child of an alcoholic, trying to figure out the rules, trying to figure out the problem so I can get ahead of it and not make it worse. But I don't know what the fucking problem is, and the problem changes. It was Teddy, but it's not Teddy. It's a bigger concept about honesty. What am I doing? What do you want from me? And I loved when Kyle asked her at the end, what is your point? And she's just like, honesty, blah, blah. It's like, you don't know. Nobody knows what you're saying. You just want to control everyone, and Dorit's not doing it right, and so you're just going to yell at her. Anyways.
No, not anyways. You're absolutely right.
Ugh.
The hypocrisy, this is the instability of relating to a non-recovering alcoholic. It makes you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My father used to actually say, it was like a credo, do as I say, not as I do. Because I remember questioning, like, but why do you get to do X, Y, Z and I don't? No. Like I've said before, I lived in a dictatorship. I did not live in a democracy. I did not live anywhere where I was taken seriously, considered as a sentient being. You know, I was there to be controlled and broken the fuck down by any means necessary. I think he even said, like, this is not a democracy, this is a dictatorship. This is a dictatorship. And he fucking meant it. It is insanity making. And you never know what you do that's not noticed on Thursday, on Friday could get you a backhand at the dinner table. And I don't mean to go there and be dark. I am just expressing my experience and the chaos and instability of what it looks like to live with an alcoholic.
Look at what happened with James and Allie.
Yeah, dude.
Like that is all of their social media posting and all of their talking and all of this, like someone who is unrecovered is capable of more gnarly shit than I'm capable of imagining. To this day, it surprises me and blows my mind. Yeah, what addiction will drive someone to do. So,
speaking of, and I want to bring this up only because I don't have faith that I'll remember at the end of the episode to bring this up, and I don't know how to add it to my notes on the iPad without getting in the weeds and then just not having access to my notes at all. So I'll just say it right now. Karen Huger was found guilty today in a court of law, jury of her peers, for her DUI. And they released the body cam footage. If you're interested in watching it, there's at least 2 or 3 different recordings that you can watch, and they're on Reddit in the Bravo Real Housewives subreddit. Maybe I'll link to them in the show notes. You guys, I got to give a plug for the show notes. Margie is fucking hilarious, and every time she sends them to me before I post the episode, I loll so hard. So if you need a chuckle, just like read the show notes. They're funny. I swear to God, they're hilarious. So I'll link that in the show notes, those posts. I hope I remember to do that. But you see, I mean, we've seen Karen, if you're watching Potomac this season, you see her denial compared to Shannon makes Shannon look like she is like a legitimate old timer in AA. or that
Yeah.
she's really doing a lot of work for a long time. Like Karen is in so much willful denial and her ego is in the driver's seat. It is staggering.
I mean,
It's
she blamed
staggering.
Ray for her second DUI.
Apparently, this is her third or her fourth, actually.
Oof. I mean, that's really, I just don't find that cute at all.
Hell no, man.
Having, bared witness to the carnage that causes if it goes wrong, like that. I don't know. I don't know how you release someone like that back into the public. I hope her license is yanked. I hope she's on house arrest. Like, she's a danger. That is a murderer without, who's been lucky. That's all that is.
Luck. Because she did go through a crosswalk when leading up to when she crashed. It was
And
through
it doesn't
a
even
crosswalk.
matter. Like, it could be anything. Like, you need to be alert when you're driving.
Yeah,
Like,
you do.
It's why you're not supposed to drive tired or emotional. Like, anything can come out from anywhere. If a kid runs into the street, whether they're in a crosswalk or not, like, you got to be fucking aware. I just don't. I find her resistance to responsibility on that front really sickening.
I agree.
Because she,
I
again,
agree.
she and Shannon both are so lucky. They are so lucky. And to not be grateful for that degree of luck and not accept responsibility. I think about like Felicity Huffman, was that her, who was in the Ivy League college.
The college scandal,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
And all the other people, who gives a shit? But the other people who were like, no, denying it and justifying it. And she was just like, yeah, I did it. And it will take me a lifetime to earn my kids' trust back. And this is terrible. And she was sent to prison for like 2 days. And I was like, that's appropriate because she understands what she did wrong. And prison is not going to rehabilitate her. She gets it. And she needs to go mend her family on the outside. I wish someone like Karen Huger would be like, this is atrocious. I'm 4 DUIs deep. I got to go to rehab. Like anything. It's why, like Mike, the Situation from Jersey Shore, I find him so interesting because he was kind of made an example of, but he was comfortable accepting his punishment. The punishment was probably too severe, but it was a statement to the rest of the world. Like, if you evade your taxes, this is what awaits you. Years in federal prison. And no one is exempt, including this famous guy who you all love so much.
New Jersey,
Bye-bye.
man. What's in the water that makes you just evade those goddamn taxes?
Listen,
JK.
I don't
It happens
know.
everywhere. I'm sure it's happening in my fucking neighborhood right now. So we go back to Erika Jane at Dorit's house. Or Erika Jane shows up at Dorit's, and yeah, my notes are Jagger is so fucking innocent and sweet. And Erika talks to him like an adult, which cracked me up. But also kudos to her because you know how I feel about the way
Yes.
Dorit has talked to him in the past in this patronizing, condescending way that she thinks is probably lovely. But like,
not anymore though. Like their
Yeah.
sunscreen conversation and this goodbye, she was like, all right, kid, bye. He's got
I
to go
know.
to tennis.
and I just she's like, good to see you, Jagger. Have a good day. And I was like, oh my God.
It sounded like a woman leaving a conference room at a
It
law
did.
office. Like,
It
nice
was-
to see
it
you,
was-
Jagger. I was
it
like,
was
what's
so-
happening?
it made my heart just like, it chuckled. I chuckled.
And then the next bit made me laugh out loud when Dorit was like, I made us some water. And I was like, oh my God, this woman is on the verge. And I looked at the water and it's Ramona water. It
Well,
was cucumbers
listen.
and lemon.
As someone with severe ADHD, when I cannot tell you how. So yes, she said she made water, and I understand how fucking hilarious and absurd it is to hear someone say I made water.
It's a recipe. It has 3 ingredients.
I can't tell you how many cucumbers and lemons I purchased over the years that sit in my crisper going bad because something prevents me from getting them out, washing them, slicing them up, and putting them in some fucking water. It's insane. When I say it out loud, it sounds insane. But I felt Dorit when she said I made some water.
Oh, I totally, and I understood what she meant and like all of it. And then I just loved her for surrendering, just being like, I'm so tired. Like she
Yeah,
knows
dude.
she's saying everything wrong. And she really is like She's someone who I believe the confusion and disorientation when she hasn't spoken to PK in 2 weeks. That's after being married for 9 years and separating, but talking 5 times a day. So like, of course she's exhausted. And I thought, again, Erika showing some empathy by saying this must be really challenging with 2 little kids. And then breaking my heart and coming to understand the source of Erika's trauma when she said, my mom was separated twice when I was a little kid. And she says, you can try to hide, but the kids feel it. They're in the house. They know. And that's little baby Erika talking to herself. No wonder she wants a pizza party. Oh. Her world crumbled around her and nobody paid attention to her. They pretended it wasn't happening. So when her world with Tom crumbled around her, she's still waiting for someone to throw her a pizza party and be like, this must be hard for you, sweet you. It's not happening. It's happening really hard to you. And that broke my heart.
I agree. And I was really glad that she brought that up. And I totally noticed it too. And it did make me have my heart softened for Erika in that moment. You know, I saw her humanity in that moment. Mm. And yes, and everything she said was true. They're little. They might not have the emotional vocabulary that we have, but they share feelings they have feelings.
And again, we've talked about it before. They see everything, they hear everything, they read everything. You know, my sister and I would dig through my mom's drawers and read the angry notes she wrote to my dad's mistresses, plural. We were like, oh my God, this guy. But just because you want information, you want to know. And I don't know how kids find it. I don't know how we honed in on the things that we did find. But like, yeah.
Your gut told you.
And it's also the problem with what Dorit and PK are doing is in order to not feel crazy, because we knew something was going on, but we were told like, this is fine. This family is functioning. And we were like, this feels terrible. Are we sure? So then you start to dig for things to try and confirm what you know is true, but no adult is like confirming for you. Like, this is weird. This is a strange time. We're working through. Like, if anyone had said anything other than everything's fine and don't tell people at school what happens at night.
Dude.
Right?
Oh my God. You just learned how to keep secrets.
And I didn't even realize that was, again, it was another college experience of when I had my you-know-how-when moments. And people were like, what?
Yeah,
what
you don't even know
night?
what you're doing is keeping secrets.
I know.
You don't even know that living without shame is a thing. Like, you just are like,
secrets.
Oh, does everyone just feel like shit constantly?
Yeah. Anyways, I appreciated Erika's perspective on this. And then she says that she hopes Dorit and Kyle made some progress in Oceanside, and Dorit feels like they did because they made a beginning. And I thought that was quite a profound statement for someone in the throes of, you know, a marriage falling apart. That was very generous of Dorit, I thought, because Kyle's an ass and
a whole ass, man.
To be grateful to have made a beginning, I thought was very nice of her. Then Erika talks about how she likes Bose we flash to this moment where Bose is talking about how she's direct and Erika told her not to soften her edges. And then we learn that Bose has been traveling. She went from Oceanside to Brazil for her daughter's 15th birthday, and she'll fly right back to Kyle's stupid party.
Stupid party
great.
That Morgan Wade played at. And FYI,
did Morgan
Kyle,
Wade really play at that?
I'm sure she did.
Oh.
You don't set up a stage like that.
Interesting.
I mean, I know the only scene we saw with a musician actually playing, it was some dude with long hair and probably facial hair. But I mean, come on. I'm not going to say I would bet my life, but what would I bet? You know, fuck that. I'm not betting shit on that couple. I don't care. But my feeling is that Morgan probably played that party.
Interesting.
I have notes. I have notes. So...
Then
go ahead. You. No. You.
Just
please.
Dorit addresses this Sutton situation and her crusade for sisterhood and honesty and expresses what everyone engaged in a conversation with an irrational alcoholic says. Dorit goes, she raised her voice at me and then I raised my voice back and then she got mad at me. And it's like, right. there is no equity. There are no rules. You're always going to be wrong. So
Oh my God.
get used to it,
Margie,
Dorit.
Margie, you just made my stomach drop. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
But it's like, it's watching this land on Dorit in real time of like, what is this? And I'm just like, it's a sickness.
This
And
is
your
why,
husband has it too. And you should go to Al-Anon.
yeah, she should definitely go to Al-Anon. This is why the administration that's about to take over the White House in mere weeks, sorry, let's just enjoy the rest of, this is the last time I'm going to bring him up. This is why it infuriates me and really reignited my depression when he first took office, because it's rules for thee, but not for me. And it was just like it was being raised in my house. You can do it, I can't. And if I do, the consequences are severe and fast.
And I can change my mind anytime I want.
Anytime.
I can come down so hard on abortion and then be like, but actually, everyone should have access to abortion. It's like, what's happening? What's the reality?
Yeah.
What are you saying ever? And now I don't believe it. As my therapist said, she's like, you can't believe anything the alcoholic says, anything good or anything bad. So that was her trying to train me out of the negative self-talk, that I had developed
Wow.
from internalizing that voice.
Oh,
But she's like,
God.
you cannot take any compliment seriously and you cannot take any criticism seriously. It is coming from the same insane source. There is no picture of yourself you're going to get from this person that isn't coming through a fucked up kaleidoscope. So just don't.
Oh my God. That just hit me in my soul, man.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It is so hard to turn off those tapes.
Oh my God. Of course
is
it's
so
the
hard.
first brain pathways that form,
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. I am so grateful that my kid is not growing up with negative self-talk that he learned from. The other day, in fact, I was beating myself up. I was having a moment where I was feeling so much shame about how my ADHD was manifesting. It's been a horrendous few weeks for me for many reasons, but not many, but big ones that feel like a lot. And I should not beat myself up in front of my kid because I know he can pick that up and I don't want him to do it to himself. But he heard me and he said, "Mama, your brain is just your brain and your brain is fine. It just works differently than other brains." So he was in the other room with the door closed and he heard me like ranting at myself. I think I was changing a load of laundry. And I was beating myself up again, like mere minutes after he told me, "Mama, your brain is just different." And he heard me and he said, "Mama, Mama, like, don't say that." And I was like, out of the mouth of MFing babes, man. Oh, that boy. I don't want him to have the negative self-talk I have. It's just really awful. Anyway, yeah. So why are we, we're talking about the alcoholic and how we get the messages and then we carry them on.
Right.
And yes, and they're hard to let go of. That's how we got here.
And Dorit
Anyway.
is sort of starting to come to terms with this in real time. We're watching
Yeah.
it. Wait, I want to read this quote to you. And you can
Please.
cut this out if you want, but it just made me think of it. I wrote this down because I thought it was so interesting. Somebody stumbled into one of Vincent van Gogh's letters to his brother, and in it he says, "If I'm worth something later, I'm worth something now. For wheat is wheat, even if people think it's grass in the beginning."
Holy shit.
Isn't that amazing?
I could cry.
Me too. I'm worth something later. If I'm worth something later, I'm worth something now. For wheat is wheat, even if people think it's grass in the beginning.
Holy crap.
I feel like I'm in a grass phase, so it really spoke to me.
Dude,
I was like, but I'm
mean,
wheat. I know I'm wheat.
full fucking sod
I am whole
right now.
wheat.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so glad you read that. You're
Yeah.
right. Holy shit.
I thought that
Thank
was
you,
so
Vincent
cool.
van Gogh.
Who cut off his
Breath.
ear and killed himself. But listen, guys, he didn't fucking solve himself. He was just trying.
I mean, how much therapy did they have back in Vincent van
Zero.
Gogh's day?
Therapy
I mean,
was
honestly.
his painting, and it just wasn't quite cutting it.
Oh, wow. And maybe without all of his clear depression, like, would we have received his artwork?
Certainly not the self-portrait with his ear cut off.
My God.
I mean, that was true madness. There were no Dr. Jenns available for house calls in those days. So he did the best he could.
Raise my Gatorade Zero fruit punch flavor to Vincent van Gogh. He's a real one.
Cheers, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to Kyle Sutton and Jennifer Tilly, and Kyle asks why Sutton yelled at Erika. And again, this is all just like alcoholic mayhem to me. Sutton
Rationalization.
Explains, yes, I heard her stage whisper, and it violated Sutton's random edict of no talking behind backs, as Sutton is currently sitting talking behind everyone's back right now. So again, my brain is right back in my childhood household going like, what is the rule? What do I do? What is going on? Like, what's happening? And this is where Sutton says we're a dynamic group of women and we've unraveled. I don't see that. I don't know what you're talking about. I just watched you all go to Oceanside, and with the exception of one dinner fight, it was fine. And then Sutton goes, I'm not angry at Dorit. And then suddenly the clock, Cher's antique clock, starts chiming. And I love the editors for leaving it in with everyone like holding for sound. And then Jennifer Tilly just throwing it in there like, that's Cher's clock. So
Oh my
what
God.
you're listening to is art.
I fucking love it. Like, compared to with the exception of Mary Cosby's house, like, compared to the sterility, is sterility a real word?
I think so.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Compared to the sterility of like Meredith's house or Lisa Barlow's house or even Heather Gay's house, like all these houses that are just devoid of any kind of originality or personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, oh, this trend is in, let me do that. It's like,
yeah, like the neon signs and all that. Like, okay, we get it.
Or the sad beige of it all, you know?
Yeah.
And so Tilly's house is such a breath of fresh air.
It's a fun house.
It is. It is a party
nuts.
house. It is a party house. Like, can you imagine being at a party and the clock goes off? She's like, everyone, that's Cher's clock. It's like, that's a fucking conversation starter.
And it's like it's a whole movement of some like orchestra piece. It lasted so long, and I'm sure we didn't even get half of it, edited in, but it was amazing. And then Sutton wraps this up by saying, these are her literal words. So I just want to be, I don't know if, anyways, it made no sense to me. She says, it's just like the ceremony goes. We can all be friends and get upset. It's all going to work out in the end. What is that? What did you just say? What does that mean? What is anyone supposed to do with that? I just, it's so insane. And of course, Jennifer Tilly and Kyle are like, yeah, right. And I was like, what?
They were too exhausted to engage.
They're right. And also, even if I could pull some meaning out of that, it's like, it's not we can all be friends and get upset. It's you can be upset, and then you can let everyone else come back around to liking you. But you can't handle 1 second of Dorit challenging you, and it's all comes flying out at that party. But like, I don't know what is going on with Sutton. It's just insane.
Yeah, you do. You talk about it every episode. She's in her cups, man.
And
we're watching the disease progress.
Yeah, I know. It's true, isn't it? And it's so confusing because this next scene is Sutton looking adorable, renting a U-Haul, engaging with Avi, so kind to Garcelle. And this is like the fucking roller coaster ride of an alcoholic. It's like, you're crazy. You make no sense.
Yes.
You're talking about how no one should talk behind people's backs as you talk behind this person's back. Then you go do something like really generous for your friend with a really great attitude and a really sincere heart, it seems. And this is where I'm just like, I don't know. It's why alcoholics are so lovable and why they're so crazy making.
They're agents of chaos and pain.
Yeah. For me.
And they can also be really enigmatic and charming and engaging. And they're so, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Yes.
But I'm learning how to, just so that I don't, if anyone's an alcoholic and listening or an addict of any kind, I have tons of them in my life because I do adore them. And Al-Anon is teaching me how to, they say in Al-Anon, you can be happy whether the alcoholic is drinking or not. And I'm really learning how to like manage my own boundaries so that I don't set myself up to be in a position like Dorit is in this episode. I just left
I
a job
do.
because I was
This
working with a
is-
weird addict. And I was like, I really like you and I really want to help you, but I cannot make sense of what you're asking changes every day and the way you ask is unkind. And these are not words I said to him, but they're words I said in my head, which led
Your
me to be
internal
like,
boundaries.
it's time to give some notice and keep it moving.
Oh, God. And
But
this is why
I left with no like real ill will. I've just left going like, oh no, another one. I fell
I
for
know.
it and I loved it and I will love you from a distance, but I cannot be in close proximity because it's just too, it again is through the looking glass. It's like just a constant puzzle that I'll never get right because you'll tell me it's a jigsaw puzzle and then you'll be like, just kidding, it's Sudoku. How'd you do it wrong? How'd you do it so wrong? I'm like, but you said it's a jigsaw puzzle.
You're
It's like,
right.
I don't know what's
And this-
happening.
This is why I want what you have still after all these years, Margie. Like you are so, how can I say this? Like I'm so attached to seeing shit in black and white. And you are describing loving detachment right now. And that is something I still, at least with my qualifiers, like I still can't embody it. I understand the concept, but I still give them too much power.
It's a practice. It's a
It
practice.
is a
'Cause
practice.
As
You're
you
right.
know, you heard me on the phone. It didn't happen right away. It was after weeks of being like, do you believe this shit? I go to work sick to my stomach and come home crying and blah, blah, blah. And it took me a while to realize like, that's not normal. Maybe you should pay attention and see if there's anything that you can fix here. And if it's not, then you need to gently step away. So, which was like the first time I've really ever done that. So that was like a big
It was beautiful.
day.
Yeah, I was so proud of you.
We left
and
on good
you
terms. So if I've
worked
ever
hard
I
to
did.
do that,
And I
You
did good work and I finished the work I said I would do for this person. And that's all I could do. So, anyways.
This show, man, this show, it stirs up a lot. Sutton Strack is stirring up a lot.
Sutton really, yeah. I clearly have unresolved work to do the way this woman who I've never seen or met can come through my TV for 45 minutes and absolutely light every pilot flame in my body that's like, I can't with alcoholics.
So yes, we are back at Garcelle's house, and Avi and Sutton are coming over to help her move stuff to her beach house in Oxnard. I love Avi, and yeah, Sutton looks adorable. She looked fucking adorable. That woman is stunning in a red lip. And I loved the outfit. I thought the like Rosie the Riveter shit was a little derivative and obvious, but
she looked cute somehow.
She
like
looked
she played
adorable.
it off.
She
and I
did.
felt like she did it as like a kitschy thing for Garcelle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like she went being like, I'm actually going to do something for women in
that
the
was her
workforce.
moving outfit. I'm helping.
Yeah.
I'm helping someone move.
It was
you
her
know?
costume for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
event.
Exactly. And Garcelle says it's been 3 years in the making on the beach house, and they can finally move in. And then we have a flashback to the conversation she had with her sister, that she's proud of herself and she can do this for herself and her family. And then Sutton pulls up in the U-Haul, and I was like, did she drive the whole way from Bel Air?
Again, that was impressive.
Yeah.
Little tiny Sutton behind the wheel of the
Yeah.
U-Haul. I thought for sure it would be Avi driving, but no.
I hate driving U-Hauls because
I would-
there's no rear view mirror or like you can't see out the back.
I mean, talk about,
There's
that's
no
a
sensor
fun
going
house on
off telling me
wheels.
if I can switch a lane, you know?
It's the
Like,
oldest, most basic technology. It's just
No.
a metal box rattling around on like four
my
tiny
God.
wheels. And like they basically just say like, good luck and put you on the road. It's nuts.
she and Avi are frickin' frack, and I love it. They're not Statler and Waldorf, but they are frickin' frack.
I
Whoever
love
frickin'
Garcelle.
frack are, but
I love
Yeah.
Garcelle being like, oh, they're fussing.
yeah,
When they
it
pulled
was-
up and he's like, put the emergency brake on. She's like, I'm pushing it. And
it
she's
was
like,
so
oh, they're
hilarious. Sutton says, I'm doing this because this is how much I love Garcelle. And I do believe that. And then she, alcoholic's going to alcoholic, and she outs Avi. She tells us Avi is strong and on the Ozempia. Ozempia, what, I don't know what, but basically she
That's
just
what she
outed
said.
Avi as on Ozempia.
fussing. And in like a really shitty condescending
In a
way.
real shitty
Again,
condescending way.
congratulations on being skinny your whole life. But like that's rude and it's condescending and everyone's on it. So you can also just like take a seat with your attitude. And again, she bothers me.
It's his story to tell.
And don't call it Ozempia. It's been out on the market for years now. Stop it. Just stop making it's belittling.
Since the 70s.
But everyone's on it for the last few years. Everyone knows the word Ozempic. Everyone knows the jingle from TV. Don't be this bitch. That is so rude. And you're punching down. You would never say it to Kathy Hilton, but you're sure shit say it about Avi. And that bothers me. Like, be an equal opportunity bitch or save it.
Totally, man. Totally. Anyway, so we arrive in Oxnard. The house is darling. The transformation is dramatic, but the triple queen bunk bed made me think, okay, is she doing this for like future episodes that might be recorded there, or is this going to be a short-term rental when she and her family aren't staying there? It would be a really big selling point to be like, because there is a family photo up, which could be taken down if there's short-term renters coming in. But
I wondered if she has a bunch of grandkids, right? Like, I wonder if that triple bunk bed is like a place where they could all sort of like have a room to be.
You're right. She has a large family. You're absolutely right. Okay.
But that middle bunk weirded me out. Like,
it feels like I'm going to be in an MRI tube.
Exactly.
Like, I am the kind of person that has to request, like, can I do the standing up one? Or do you guys have one that like the thing isn't an inch from my nose? Because as much as I want to be a people pleaser and not wig the fuck out, like, I hate going in those tubes.
It's terrible.
It is. It's awful. So
the MRI bunk beds.
Then Sutton pours herself. All we see is the grapefruit juice cocktail. I don't mean grapefruit juice cocktail. I mean, like, that's what it's called. Like, it's the cranberry juice cocktail or you know what I'm saying. It's the grapefruit juice with the water and the sugar added. But I'm sure was there some vodka in there?
I would imagine she did some mixing before she got on the road. Yeah, yes. They go up to Garcelle's rooftop to talk, and this is where Garcelle says her kids thanked her for the life she's given them, and then Sutton randomly like bitches that like kids don't thank us enough. Anyway, and then she redirects to gossip about the group dynamics. And this is, again, some classic alcoholic logic where Sutton cannot understand how Dorit could come for her because Sutton was nice to her on the boat for a minute. So how could she come? It's like you don't get to do one thing for half a second and then have free reign to do whatever you want from, like, it is so self-centered and short-sighted and yucky. Because Sutton claims she'll be there to help Dorit with finance stuff when the other shoe drops. And then she called it the PK shoe, which sounds like Pikachu, and it made me laugh.
God. Oh my God.
But I think, and Garcelle then clarifies that she didn't think that Dorit had anything to do with that robbery, but the insinuation is that PK did, and as the divorce plays out, and, you know, I'm sure they'll have forensic accountants looking at how to determine what the assets are and how to divide them. And I'm sure that will unravel a lot of things that PK's been trying to keep tucked away.
Oof. You're not lying, man. You're not lying.
I heard someone sort of breaking down how the robbery happened the night after the reunion aired, where Dorit mentioned that she owns all of the clothes that she wears and that they're all in her closet. And then the following days when the robbery happened. So I don't know. I don't either. I've just never heard of a robbery where they're like, and we'll leave your phone at the gate, okay? And we're going to threaten you with guns, but we're not going to wake up. We're not going to wake up your kids. We're not going to wake up your kids.
I know.
It was just so careful and
yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's just weird. And again, it has to do with PK being kind of an unsavory character to begin with. If he was a completely, if he was like a guy on the up and up, it would be hard to conceive of Obama doing something like this to Michelle. You know what I mean? But it's PK,
God.
So it's like
right. I mean,
this is why where this might occur to him is like an okay thing to do.
This is
no
why
harm, no foul.
Erika is able to show Dorit so much empathy. PK is to Tom. Tom is shady as hell, as we all know.
Dorit is to PK as Erika was to Tom, which is like you. Whether or not you explicitly know everything that's going on, you know that something's going on and you're just choosing not to ask. And like, that's fine. But yeah, Erika and Dorit, I think they do have some stuff in common on the stand by your man front.
Yeah. Oy, 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 oy. Oh, then we pivot to Erika Jayne's house where Dr. Jan Mann shows up for a house call, which I don't know. I mean, I hesitate to call Erika rich, or even like rich with a capital R. Like I don't know what her financial situation is, honestly. But I mean, she's not Jennifer Tilly or Sutton rich or Kathy Hilton rich or Kyle. You know what I'm saying. Dr. Jen Mann, who, to remind everyone, was the in-house therapist on Dr. Drew Pinsky's Celebrity Rehab, which I watched and was fascinated by. It was like a train wreck every freaking week. But my point is that I don't know. I don't trust Dr. Mann's motives at all. I mean, I'll get there in a second. But yeah, so Erika says that she's going through lots of changes, and she's been in her house for 4 years. It brings up a lot of emotions, and she wants to make it feel like a sanctuary. So when she comes here, she feels enveloped in peace, tranquility, and glamour. And I'm not God. I'm not the boss of Erika. I'm also not I'm not anyone who anyone else should listen to as someone that gets to decide what's right and what's wrong. I'm just saying, I haven't talked about my cosmic scoreboard in a long time. On the cosmic scoreboard, does Erika Jayne deserve to be enveloped in peace, tranquility, and glamour? I'm an asshole. I hear myself say that out loud, but
You're
it's
not
like,
an asshole. It's just
Erika, clean your shit up first. Clean up your shit.
You would think, you would hope, but
It just is. It seems so callous and inappropriate.
It is. Knowing that there are still people who are suffering because of the life that Tom's criminal behavior afforded Erika, I would not be able to enjoy I wouldn't be able to roll around in my new surroundings carefree.
No.
Knowing that people who have pretty advanced needs based on what my ex-husband did, it's just not all Tom's fault. So anyways.
And Dr. Jenn says, that's what I've wanted for you, Erika. That's what I've wanted for you. And this made me so prickly. Like, I don't trust her motives at all. I ask both of my therapists, my ketamine therapist and my regular therapist, and my psychiatrist. I probably ask my fucking physical therapist, just to name the range of therapists that I see. I beg, demand, request that all of them keep me accountable. Do not yes man me. And I ask them, like, am I off? Where am I off? Point out where I need to, like, rethink something or re-examine something, or if I'm missing my part in this. Like, I don't want to be just coddled. I want to change and grow and let go of destructive behaviors on whatever side of the spectrum they're on, you know? And so is she being a yes man, or is she bringing compassion to Erika Jayne? I don't think Erika, like I said this before, I don't think she's shown any contrition or compassion or empathy for the victims of Tom. And I think that that's a key component to warranting compassion from other people. Like, don't flagellate yourself, but also be accountable. What did I say? Please.
You recommended the book to me about self-compassion.
Oh,
and I've listened to it.
God.
And no, you don't have to earn compassion. You do not. And in fact, according to that book, compassion is the avenue that opens you up to this life where you're more available to others and more interested and concerned with the well-being of others.
You're right.
But I do, based on what you just said, you are a very different patient than Erika Jayne. You know, and I think Dr. Jenn is working with the patient she's got. And I'm actually impressed with her because I'm like you. If Erika Jayne were my patient, I would be like, hey, fuck you, dude. No, no glamour, none of this shit until you are certain that you have done all that you actually can. And if you've done all you can for these other people, if your side of the street is clean, great. Go live and roll around in whatever is left for you. But that is why I'm not a therapist, because I can't stomach that shit, because it's it's injustice. And we both have that problem where it's like, if there is injustice, I cannot rest. And like, I think Dr. Jenn is just trying to take Erika Jayne through baby steps. And I think, and again, having listened to the book that you recommended last week, this Tara Brock?
Tara? Is it Tara or Tara Brock?
I don't know. Tara Brock, maybe? Radical Compassion. And that is what
radical
she talks
acceptance
about.
or is it radical compassion? She has both, though, radical acceptance and radical compassion.
Oh, maybe I just got, I think I got radical compassion.
You can't go wrong with either one, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, the RAIN method, where you recognize, acknowledge, investigate,
and nurture.
Nurture. So that is your glamour. That is your enveloped in luxury life. And you do not have to earn it or wait. And that is counterintuitive for me if I was in Erika's situation, but I don't know.
Okay, fair. I am humbled.
I do think Dr. Jenn is having an impact on Erika, and I think it is a long road, but she must know something I don't. She must be trained in a way where she knows how to work with someone whose narcissism is still toward a 8 or 9, like, yeah.
Wow. Okay. You're right. And it's true. Like,
because I have to apply it to myself that way. If I think I have to be absolved of all of my sins to deserve compassion, I'm fucked. I've made so many mistakes.
Right. You're 100%
I am
right.
an absolute mess in so many ways. And if I can't appreciate and be invested in my own existence until I've resolved all that, that's insane. I can't do it.
You're right. And like, honestly, thinking about it, when have I ever changed from beating myself up?
Never.
Or like, you're never.
I get
Never.
worse.
I get worse. You're
And
right.
my self-hatred
such
becomes
a dick.
You're not a
Oh
dick.
my God, I'm just doing exactly what I. Oh shit,
Mama,
I
no.
know, Mama, no, stop. Yeah, you're right. Oh, dude. Oh well,
Not perfect
yet. Yeah. So we already talked about this. Erika Jayne hated going outside when she first moved in. She was a pariah, and so being able to start over is a big deal. Put pretty things in the house is a positive step. Again, I have to say, though, she earned that pariah status. She's redeemable, of course, but only after an authentic mea culpa. She wasn't a pariah out of thin air. She earned it. So,
Well, and she gets there and when they get to their that's not pizza party behavior section.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's initiated when Erika asks Dr. Jenn why Sutton triggers her. And again, she presents another example of like trying to follow an alcoholic's logic. Erika says, I made some comment about Kyle and got yelled at because it wasn't good enough, or maybe I should have said it to the whole group. And Dr. Jenn notes that that shoulds really trigger Erika, drive her up a wall, and if anyone tells her should, Erika's knee-jerk reaction is like, fuck you, fuck off forever. And Dr. Jenn used this language that is historical for you. And she mentioned it's historical among the women in this group, but based on what Erika shared at the beginning of the episode, I feel like it's historical based on her mother.
Oh,
because her mother separated twice, paid no attention to her, probably had lots of shoulds for this daughter of hers. And I imagine that goes way deep. So
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then Dr. Jenn holds Erika's feet to the fire and says, you have your own lists of shoulds for what the women should have done for you. And Erika points out, she's like, exactly. Kyle got a pizza party and I didn't. And Jen's like, well, your divorce was not clean and you contributed to feelings of animosity toward you and your own group. But you get what you give, basically. And she didn't flinch. She wasn't, I feel like this is effective, Like that doesn't feel like yes manning to me. That feels like, oh, I'm not going to say like, oh, you didn't get a pizza. You deserve a pizza party, honey. She was like, well, you didn't get a pizza party because earrings and because you were a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And it gave, I have to admit, it did lend a nugget of credibility where Dr. Mann is concerned. And I was heartened to see Erika concur. I don't believe she's contrite to the level that I think is acceptable. And that is my problem.
I agree,
that is my problem.
I do feel like Dr. Jenn is guiding her down this road because she then says, maybe someday you host a pizza party where they can acknowledge the shit that you took and you can further acknowledge the shit that you gave that you shouldn't have. She put a whole shouldn't in there.
Yeah.
And like, I wonder if this is leading down the path of like, you can acknowledge the shit that you shouldn't have given these women. You can, maybe that leads to, you can acknowledge the shit that you should give back to these other people, you know? We'll start local and build out to,
Okay.
So you can just get this lesson sort of on a cellular level and then maybe apply it to people that could really fucking use some thoughtfulness on your part.
Dr. Mann, I apologize. I don't know your methods. I am not the therapist. I am not God. I don't get to decide how anyone lives their life. You're absolutely right.
Well, and it's also, it's a client. Dr. Jenn is a business. It's like, what are you going to do? Like you.
Oh, she is. She's a TV business. Yes.
And like, honestly, more power to her. Like,
you're right. You're right.
As far as we're concerned, the more exposure therapy gets in any kind of positive light, the better. This looked like the kind of therapy session that I'm accustomed to having, where it's a conversation and it's honest and there's some humor and there's some seriousness and there's some history and there's some present day tangible things to work on. And like, I would love, instead of people being like, she's in therapy, if that's what therapy is, if that's the association people can start making with it, yay. Thank God.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Margie. 100%. I agree. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I'm not trying to be right. I'm just like, I was just happy to see a therapy session that didn't look like, your drinking has affected me in the following ways. You know, like therapy is always so like fraught and heavy. And it's like, sometimes it's just like reasoning things out with someone who is a neutral party in your life. So
you're right.
Cool.
You're right, man.
That's not pizza party behavior.
But then they went a little, in my opinion and in my experience, they went a little too heavy on the, you mix Lexapro and alcohol.
Agreed. Like, that I didn't need. I was like, let's not excuse this shit with.
I've drank on multiple SSRIs. I've drank on multiple SSNIs. And while I am a lightweight, to the extent that my friend Pat calls me Two Drink Ramirez, which is fucking hilarious, I call bullshit on the Lexapro thing. That just gave me rationalization and narrative curation.
Totally agree. I absolutely agree.
Please do not put that much weight on it. I am not saying go out and drink a fifth of fucking vodka with your antidepressants. I'm saying that I don't think that the Lexapro and the alcohol were that big of a deal.
Even if it did, it undercuts everything you just said about taking responsibility. The second you blame it on a substance, you've lost the thread of your own personal responsibility. We've all gotten too drunk. We've all done too many drugs. We've all made terrible decisions. But at the end of the day, that's not a meaningful excuse to the person you harm. Like, ask Archie after Shannon's drunk driving accident. Right? I'm sure he, you know what I mean? Like, it's not enough to be like, it was the alcohol. It's like, well, don't drink that's not helpful. Right. That doesn't, anyways.
Right. I'm still grieving the loss of both of my parents. Well, Karen, everyone loses loved ones every single day, and we don't drive drunk, right?
Like if you've gotten multiple DUIs, that pattern is just flagrant fuck you to the rest of the people on the road.
100%, man, 100%.
That's just it's Russian roulette, and you don't care about yourself or anyone else at that point. And clearly, I don't know. Actually, I wonder, maybe. I don't know if you have to know someone who's died from a drunk driver hitting them or what. Like, I don't know why that doesn't register with people.
I don't either.
It is, you can kill someone. You can kill yourself. Is that worth the fucking 3-minute wait for an Uber? I will never fucking understand. Especially not now. Like back in the 90s and stuff. Like, I remember when I first moved here in the early 2000s, you would drive to a club and then you would park on the street, but street cleaning would happen at 4 a.m. So like
my
you had to
God.
move your car 3 blocks. And like
Yes.
I would drive drunk 3 blocks to move my car. And I did. I'm not proud of that. And I'm so lucky, but
Yeah.
I'm aware that I'm so lucky. And
Oh God, yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Oy, oy, oy.
but there weren't cabs. There was no Uber. There was no Lyft. Like
Oy.
it was, but I did learn about in Los Angeles, I learned about Tipsy Tow.
Yeah.
Where you can call AAA and they'll tow your car to your home and you ride in the truck with them. And I did
AAA
that
does
once or
that.
twice.
AAA does that,
Yeah.
and they do it on New Year's Eve, and New Year's Eve is coming up. So
Yeah.
just mark that in. Yes, all right, if we're going to be rigorously honest, yes, when I lived in Silver Lake, I would go to the Edendale Grill. I can't remember what the bar was called, but it was my favorite fucking hangout in all of
Yeah.
Silver Lake for years. Oh
I
my
love
God.
that place.
Love that bar. And I would drive the back way home. Like I knew how to drive around the reservoir, like not on the main drag, but through the residential. And I remember praying my ass off one night. I'm like, God, if you get me home, I will never do this again. I will never do this again. And like the shame I still feel about doing it. And maybe the fact that I knew a little bit, like maybe that was the part that got me home safe, or it was also luck, but I am so sorry.
I swear, I think it's just luck. Cause like
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I did that car move a couple times in my youth. And then I've talked about it on this podcast before. A friend of mine did it and she got pulled over.
Yep.
Right by her house. Her car was almost in her driveway.
Oh,
And that's why, everyone makes fun of me, but like there's sobriety checkpoints now that go up randomly around town. And if I've driven somewhere, I will not have a sip of anything. Because if I get it to a sobriety checkpoint, I will have a panic attack. Even if I've had a sip of champagne, I'm the person who will have a meltdown in front of the police officer when they're like, have you been drinking tonight? I'll be like, I had a sip, but I'm probably like, I just don't want to even,
oh God.
don't want to deal. So
I think I went through one in LA and I only had like one cocktail, but I shat myself.
yeah,
and
it's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
and they don't
I can't
even
remember.
breathalyze everyone. It's sort of
They
random.
didn't breathalyze me. Right.
But
right.
it's still scary when there's like police. There's they have the lights set up, and you already feel like you've been
the
arrested.
little
just
sawhorses
pulling
with
through it.
yes, it is. And just the dread when you're like, oh God, and there's a car behind you. You can't flip a Yui because then they're going to be like, follow that fucking Honda.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Nothing more
so,
incriminating
oh,
than like, I'm just
God.
going to take a different route now.
If anyone listening has experienced anything with a drunk driver affecting you negatively, I just want to say I am terribly sorry, and I understand and validate if you have any feelings of ill will or rage or anger. I see that,
I mean,
towards me for saying this, telling you what I've done
look,
in the past.
I accept the scorn too. And it took, again, me having to pick a friend up at Van Nuys Women's Prison to get a real look at the real consequence and the aftermath. A DUI is expensive, it's time consuming, and you can't drive. Your license is revoked. You can drive to and from work, but you better be real clear about where that is and not deviate, because then the penalties, it's just a high anxiety period of time trying to work through a DUI. Very expensive, very time consuming, very emotionally consuming. And then, of course, since I've had people who've lost loved ones too at the hands of a drunk driver, and that's
God.
it. That's a done. That's just, it's final. Your desire to get home is not, and again, coming from an alcoholic household where it was just fucking normal that dad was in the drunk tank again and mom would go pick him up the next morning and we'd get a ride to school from someone else.
Wow, that
sucks.
sucks.
My sister and I made up a song about it.
Oh my God.
I mean, because that's how lighthearted it was. It was like, dad's at the driver's place. Like, it's just like, this is so fucked up. And no one told us. No one. But anyways, Karen Huger is old enough and she's had enough fucking warnings. And if this is really her fourth DUI, it can't be. She would be in jail. There's no allowance past 2.
I mean, the discourse on Reddit today was like, I think this is her third. People were pulling up screenshots of records, and I was trying to stay on task today. So I I didn't. I'm going to go back like when I have some downtime in quotes and like
I mean, I
reread.
trust there's something in
but-
the law that won't let someone get past a certain amount. And in DC or in that area, I would be surprised if it's, but whatever. She's so lucky and she doesn't seem to appreciate it. Like you said, she seems to think that the police wrongfully interrogated her.
Dude, watch the tape.
Insane.
It is nuts. She told a cop to like fuck off or something. She was able to sit in the front seat of the cop car. I need to find these posts on Reddit and put them in the show notes.
That is some Countess Luann shit. And she
It
did her
was,
time
exactly.
and went to rehab and, you know, will still, clearly it's a daily struggle in some ways for her, but she changed a little. Shannon is changing a little. And Karen Huger's just dug in on like, my parents died, I was grieving. It's Ray's fault because our marriage is weird. Like nothing, no personal responsibility at all for how many drinks you put in your body and got behind the wheel of your car, you dipshit.
Ray is in one of the
videos
of the clips from the body cam footage, yeah. And you can see him like making excuses and trying to talk to the cops. She's visibly wasted. I don't know why he wasn't driving, but I don't know. But yeah,
He may have come to the scene after. Didn't she call him or something?
Oh, did she call him and he came?
I think so.
Oh, God.
I think wasn't that talked about on the show? Or I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember
either.
I just remember being so bowled over by how flippant she was about it. And she didn't plea out. She chose a trial. And everyone's like, dude, what are you doing?
The arrogance of that move.
Arrogance.
Is
That's
insane.
the word. Yes. My God. My God.
And also, it's just so, I hate that. Like that is an abuse of the court system. You did something wrong. You know you did something wrong, and you're going to fight it. Just give it a try, just to see if there's a Potomac fan on that jury who will let you go. It's like that's not what the court system is for. Like,
agreed,
with her.
man, agreed. 100% agreed. I think she's sentenced in March or May. It's one of the M months.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it's May, though. So does that mean she just gets to kick it at home?
yeah, but it's not kicking it when you're facing. You know what I mean? Those
I
aren't
know,
pleasant
but-
days when you know.
I know,
that,
but she's home for the holidays, you know? Like, that's,
Yeah.
it seems, I don't know, whatever.
I don't think you can. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it if I knew.
You're right.
that-
She's
I would
probably
rather honestly be sentenced in the moment and just go and get it over with. Because
I would too.
anticipating it would probably.
Oh, God, it would be hellacious.
Yeah.
Just like get it over with. Yeah, like just get it over with. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But that's where, again, I'm on the Felicity Huffman side of things of like, if you fucked up, acknowledge it. The courts are generally lenient when you do. Not in the case of the situation from Jersey Shore, but sometimes.
Or lots of people that are not celebrities.
100%.
Yeah. When you don't have money,
Yeah.
you don't get these luxuries of leniency. Yeah. When your skin's a different color, maybe, and there's just lots of factors. Like lest anyone think that we think that the court system is not flawed.
Yeah.
know?
I will say that like, it seems like Karen Huger needs to be punished in the prison system because she is not grasping that what she did is criminally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She's not grasping it. And so to me, I don't know what the options are for rehabilitation other than to put her somewhere where all she can do is think about where that choice landed her.
Agreed.
If she can't conceive of how it was irresponsible and how lucky she was to have it, to be caught twice. If you're caught twice, you've done it a billion times in between.
Right.
It's habitual for her.
Right. You're right.
Crazy.
Oy, oy, oy.